which measures should we take? Should we call up this for discussion? It's beautiful. But what are the deliverables and achievabilities? What could be the implementation plan for us to be able to be compliant in this kind of direction? Because this is issue of handling the national academy stuff. Are we guided onto the policies and the principles of setting up this? Looking at the dynamics of finances and looking at the dynamics of the locations of our academies and what it entails for us to have this circle. I think I would like to submit it back to you, but in policy, in principles of guidance, good enough, the technical person in charge of finance could guide us, possibly before his speech. This is not his official speech, but guiding us onto this kind of idea, because this is that have been brought up.
For the circle?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, members of this very important gathering. The circle, there's nothing that can stop the youth association or have a circle. Already welcome to join. Delegates are all members are free to join. As I speak, the Uganda Premier League meets previous last year's General Assembly was also involved and passed. Much as they are also members of FIFA and their delegates, being the Premier League team, you are directly a member. There are 16 members. So they are also eligible to be members in the FIFA circle. However, if they have opted to also have their own circle, it's not against the regulation. As long as it goes and registers through with the blessing of the federation, the government, the agency that is mandated to do that. So I don't see any problem even under the youth. However, we need to understand who are the people eligible in terms of age category to undertake under the youth and the circle. So there will be need for more guidance legally by the FIFA legal guidance and discussion. That's a very good idea. There's nothing that can stop youth as an association to have
Yes, thank you so much for that guidance. I think the guidance is right on point. Just like we need to be guided on the concepts, and then we know the procedures that we need to take, possibly before we pass it. I don't know what the delegates will say, but like the guidance, as per the guidance, we need to first get guidance and then look at the procedures and how this can be incorporated in our association before we pass it in the AGM. So I would request Mr. Mara to get in touch with possibly to draft a concept on this, such that the concept is right. We present it to the legal committee, then they go through, they'll give us feedback on how this. I'd like to assure you that due to the pandemic, we assume our members would have fulfilled their obligations. So the activities of the association have been so minimal. So it's within this jurisdiction that we are not in a position to dismiss any persons or a member, because even when all of them have not paid, do their submission for compliance, but the delegates that submit your ideas from UIFA to the FUFA General Assembly. And our delegates, we have Mr. Kabugo Manisoli, our delegates available, and we have myself as the chairman representing the youth in the General Assembly. I'd like to announce my secretariat that I'm going to work with, and in the secretariat we are going to maintain Mr. Chigongo Shafiq as our CEO. And will be deputized by Mr. Kennedy Stephen Sekabira. We are bringing the deputyship into this leadership, and then we are trying to restructure the secretariat services. Under the media officers, we will have Mr. Mboga Swaib as our media officer, and we will have Mr. Kadu and Mr. Alex Kasirie. We'll have a media team that is going to cooperate and do our media services. We have events department. When we say events, we have people that need to organize our functions and organize our association events. And under that, we'll have Mr. Rebecca Robert, Joel Mwanguzi, and Mr. Dennis Namanya. All these academy people. We want to incorporate those stakeholders that own these academies to come and serve at the association, at association committees. When we go to the sub-committees and the standing committees for UIFA, for football development, we'll have Mr. Chigongo Falu from Namasuba Juventus. We'll have Ms. Sharon Acheng from Misinj. We'll have Mr. Bashir Mutiaba, is the one in charge of youth development from FUFA. We need that kind of interaction and guidance from his office. And then we'll have Mr. Papira Anthony from Accent Soccer Academy. Under competitions, we'll have 4 people, and under competitions, the competitions committee. Yes, under competitions committee, we'll have Mr. Maga Peter from Wolf. We'll have Mr. Kabugo Manisul from KJT, and then we'll have Mr. Oscar Mawa, Moses Mawa. Some people call them Mosaic. Under the docket for competition. We have created another committee for coaches because we need to get down to the ground and engage the coaches from all levels of football development, 1 to value. So we have created a committee under youth coaches, and this we have Madame Christine Wanyana. I think many of you might know her. She also has an academy. Mr. Sally Ronald, that is Coach Sally, and then Mr. Salim Twaka Brandon. And Mr. Zimla Fahad from Kafa Foundation Academy. We have created a legal committee that is going to guide us under our legal proceedings, documentation, policies, registration, all legal issues. And this is going to be headed by Madam Patience Abhaire, Council. We'll have Council Derek and Haji Jafari Semanda from Finbook Academy. And this will be guided by Mr. We are still talking with Mr. Rukambi to give us guidance as a FUFA representative on our legal committee. Finance Committee, the chairman himself is Mr. Batu Segad that just presented the budget. Mr. Sentongo Abe from FOF. Mrs. Sarah Birungi from Chikajo Stars. Mr. Mukasa Naftali from Bweya Soccer Academy under the Finance Committee. The Girls Football Development Committee will have Mr. Mubiru Yasin from Isla. Isla is registered member of UIFA. Soccer Academy, we have Madame Frida Maberi from Sky Sport, Eastern Uganda. Madame Betty Mayanja from Zambia Younger Stars. These people can make their sub-committees as well to make sure they appropriately fulfill their obligation as committee members. On the marketing department, we'll have Mr. Akankwasa Warren from Highland Academy. We have Mr. Alonso Ronald from Lion Sports, that is Western Uganda. We have Mr. Mugoya Francis, Watoto, and Sparta. we want to create the youth referees. FUFA has got the youth referees, and we also want to embed this kind of idea into our academies, at least academies, to train younger referees as young as possible. So we wanted to incorporate that idea and bring on people who will guide us on through that journey. And the chairman would be Mr. Nsubga Faizo from Kaida Soccer Academy. I think is an assessor as well, a referee's assessor, but he is also a member. We'll have Mr. Nsubga Brian. Mr. Nsubga Brian works with FUFA, but he's also a youth referee. Mr. Tugume Robert is from Streamline, but he's also a referee. And then Mr. Timothy Gumisiliza. We have seen so much of his techno ideas into youth development and into youth judgment, because we want straight judgment and development. Under the communication area, we have Mr. Nsereko from Superheroes. We have Mr. Mulawa Zakaria from Mission Soccer Academy. We have Mr. Murwan Isaac from Lugazi Soccer Academy. And these are compliant members. Under the futsal development, we have Mr. Nsubuga Destiny from Eagle Soccer Academy. We have Mr. Madam Dorothy Namgen from Accent Soccer Academy. And we have Mr. Saj Makilishi Mosh from Kampala Galaxy. Beach soccer, since we have embedded them in our budget, we have Mr. Kakoza Shafik, 5 stars in Tebe. We have Mr. Mudora Shafik. Naguru, the Shafikis have taken over this one. Mr. Anthony Tumwesije, the one for Beach Soccer Association, to guide this committee on how we can organize beach soccer. Ethics, disciplinary, and fair play. Under this we have Reverend Father Seguia Francis, St. Padre Pio Soccer Academy. We have Mr. Aski Kato, Tale Tributes, and Mr. Nsubuga Faizo from Kaida. We shifted Mr. Mawa to competitions. So I would like to call upon the Chief Executive Officer to read the coordinators that we have chosen to represent us and guide our academies in all different kind of regions. I would like to submit and welcome all those members to actively work with us.
Thank you so much, dear Chairman. On his appointment, Mr. Tuanuka Robert, Chairman-elect, appointed Mr. Otidi Morris as the coordinator of Lango Sub-Region, Mr. Maldini Ochenko from Acholi.
For that submission, I would like also to announce that Mr. Otidi Morris is the chairman for ethics, disciplinary, and fair play. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call the CEO to take over this one.
Dear distinguished delegates, allow me to report to you that on the 8th of May 2021, the national delegates voted in Mr. Kabugomani Sul from Kampala Ridge delegates. Congratulations, gentlemen. And then
what comes in there, they are marketed. Then the business part of it comes. We are strengthening the association into marketing. At this moment, want to speak to delegates, and after I address the delegates, please invite for us our chief guests to address the delegates and address the assembly. Thank you so much. I would like to submit.
Allow me to stand up. Yes. Before I invite the Chief Executive Officer, Chief, I wish to convey this message to you, that this is the Uganda Youth Football Association I often talk to you about. It is a very elaborate member association that FUFA should be proud of. You can see the structure that is in place. Very elaborate. My only prayer, Chairman, Mr. Robert Chua, is make it easy for me to continue speaking to FUFA about Uganda Youth Football Association by putting what you have discussed in place. Let it work. It is only from Uganda Youth Football Association that now we can talk of
This meeting is being recorded.
your vision and mission. I'm trying to relate it to the FUFA vision. FUFA says we have to be the first footballing nation on and off the pitch in Africa. That is our mission, our vision. How can Uganda Youth Football Association link that vision to theirs or to yours is what I'm looking at. Please, before you submit to FUFA, try to look at how you can integrate your vision into the FUFA vision so that we do the same things. It is only how you do things that will determine FUFA's success in youth football. Actually, you do not even have to be doubtful of how or why the president, Mr. Engineer Magogo, Honorable Engineer Moses Magogo, is so close to Uganda Youth Football Association. It is simply because that is the core of football. We cannot continue talking about football development without talking about youth development. He knows it. That's why he is deliberately close to you. So whatever advice you need to give him, please give. Whatever he tells you to do, let's do it. There's that bit of regional associations. Before I invite Chief, I wish to say this. Every regional football association has a youth component. So just like the coaches, the referees, you just need to tap into how do we make our members there active. I have talked to the various chairmen of the regions. They have actually told me the only thing they need from you, from coaches, from referees, this soccer, is to get in touch with them, because they don't know how to do. Some of them say they don't know how to do these things. They don't have the information from you. But if you tell them what to do, if you tell them what you're doing, they are willing to partner with you for football development. So please get in touch with them. Mr. Chief Guest, Uganda Youth Football Association is a universal member. Universal member. I mean, it can fall under coaches, it is in women, it is in refereeing, everywhere. So please, let's look at these members and support them. And I know we are in that process, we can support them. With the few I have mentioned, please allow me to invite you to, I know, say a lot about your excitement about Uganda Youth Football Association. Thank you very much.
Allow me to speak while standing, because youth football is something that is highly regarded in the football fraternity and the Federation of Uganda Football Association. I would like to begin by thanking the organizers of this very important occasion today. The Uganda Youth Football Association, during its 14th Annual General Assembly, held today, 10th July 2021, at the FUFA Patient Interest Group, the one that is in Kano. I want to congratulate you. Having said that, I bring warm greetings from FUFA leadership, headed by none other than Honorable Engineer Moses Hashim Magogo and his executive. We are so proud about you as youth association, and they commit to give utmost support to this association. Furthermore, I would like also bring greetings from the FUFA Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Edgar Watson, together with the entire secretariat staff at FUFA. We are so proud and work at the association here is something that we take in high esteem as the CEO's office at FUFA and the entire secretariat. And we are so proud about the achievements so far, right from the outgoing leadership, because they created the core basis of what we are now riding on. I'd like to recognize that and put it on record. I'd like to thank Mr. Swale, who is our membership officer. It was a new office segment in the secretariat. Came in strong and has been working so diligently and selflessly to see that acts as the major link between the head office or the secretariat and the regional offices and regions and members. So I cannot go beyond not recognize for the role. And thank you so much as CEO's office at FUFA. Recognize your contribution that is towards the betterment of the member association, where Uganda Youth Football Association is among. We have been hit by a pandemic, COVID-19. It was so dreadful that it hit everybody, and football was among the sports hardly hit. And the hardness in the hitting from the pandemic against football made a lot of adjustments. Many activities were put on hold, and living in a measure of uncertainty. But I would like to thank you so much, the Youth Association, for being steadfast and operating amidst the challenges of the pandemic to ensure that most of the activities that are statutory are upheld and fulfilled. I also want to thank you for adopting the new trends amidst the pandemic. For example, being IT conscious. Because world over now, we are doing things by Zoom, we are doing activities or meetings virtually. And I would like to thank all those members who are online from all the regions, west to north, gets and members online for gathering where members of this association of the youth sit and fulfill the statutory obligation as done today. I would like to thank you and big up all of you online. FUFA, we have a vision, we have a mission. Already Mr. Swale highlighted it, rightly so. Our vision is to be the #1 footballing nation in Africa, on and off the field of play. The mission to develop, promote and protect. And I'm very glad when I looked at your vision and mission, they fit so well with the aspirations of FUFA, which is the mother body. This is very important, and I saw in your strategic plan that the key aspects that are well aligned with the FUFA vision, the FUFA strategic plan. I would like you to take more interest in the FUFA strategic plan and make sure that you tailor-make your strategic plan to be fitting well so that it trickles down and do not have any trouble in fulfilling your mandate as a new executive. FUFA is fully committed, and the leadership, as outlined earlier of FUFA, is very steadfast on supporting youth football because we know it's the seed. It's the seed level without which you cannot have higher players, and it's a conveyor belt concept that we believe in. And as we speak now, the executive has embarked so strongly on promoting youth football, and like Swale said, there is much more that is coming and in the pipeline. We just have to be ready and support the current leadership at FUFA and work together harmoniously so to achieve all the required goals set by the youth football. FUFA is guided by 8 focus areas, 8 pillars, and we focus in 8 directions. We have governance, and which I'm happy, something that started years back. You see that it has trickled down, and Uganda Youth Football Association, right from the outgoing leadership, embrace the governance principles as set by the Federation, and we are happy. I see it moving now into the new leadership, and going by the deliberations today, you see that everything has been done fantastically, and we are very happy about that as a Federation. And I can assure you I'm taking very warm and very good information back, feedback to the leadership about what has been taking place here in the Association of Youth. We have football development. It is one of the pillars. After governance, we have football development. we have competition, we have infrastructure, equipment and infrastructure, we have marketing and communication, we have competition. So these are ideas that, or these are key pillars that we stand as FUFA, as the FUFA House, to see that we work with the regions and members to ensure that we achieve the strategic objectives of the Federation and football at large. Capacity building by ensuring that we go through the football development segment that even has an employed person as a human resource capacity building manager based in Nigeria. So we need to work together to ensure that all these capacity building opportunities are enhanced amongst the youth segment. The governance, I talked about it, licensing, elections, these help us always fulfill our obligations in terms of governance and know that leadership can only be effective when it is regularly tested. That's why we always have leadership elections. We have licensing. We must come to see, is this academy existing? We no longer have, we left that era of briefcase academies. Please, all members of this assembly, please, let's do away with briefcase institutions. Let's be more corporate and ensure that we fulfill the obligation of licensing. I'm happy we are pushing so much also on girl child, and you see in the amongst beach soccer, futsal, all this is being brought on the limelight, and none is going to be left behind with the current leadership at the Federation. That's why, no wonder, we are now having registering successes. Under 17 AFCON participation, unprecedented. It has never happened before in Ugandan history. We achieved it during your lifetime. I'm too proud as the youth leaders today. In fact, you qualified for World Cup because then I can confidently say the current leadership at FUFA and the leadership at also the girl national team under 17. We're just one level away. We had one qualifier game, right? And amongst the youth developers, they told me this team was going to go through. So that shows that you people are in center of managing this segment, and we are trusting you. We know with the current leadership and working hand in hand with the outgoing leadership, we shall even achieve better. Has had challenges. As I speak, I also stem from the youth segment. Fortunately, I've seen football right from when I was a ball boy in Mbale Stadium, 1994, when there was East and Central Challenge.
This meeting
That's where I stem my history of football.
is
Unfortunately,
being recorded.
Unfortunately, our time, there were no youth structures. So we used to discover ourselves. For me to come and play in schools, and play by then it used to be called Super League, not Uganda Premier League as it is now. There was no even the it was hard football by then. And I can't say there was an academy where I went through. No. We used to just play in school, you play at university, and you end yourself and say, they ask you which number you play, say, I play number 11. As if you're born with the number on the what? But because you have no youth structure to guide you and say, you know, this is how best you can execute as a player. So I know where we are coming from, and I'm very proud where we are now. The issue of age cheating, please, dear delegates and members of the executive, let's continue fighting this vice. Let's work together with the youth development department and the federation at large to ensure that we kill this vice out of our football. Because it teaches the child something wrong. You are not helping that child. Player exodus, players moving out of the country, it should be in a structured manner. Let's not try to do activities that will take away children in a non-professional manner. Player transfer within and out. We must ensure that we put a system whereby everybody who is eligible to earn something out of that player is entitled and should achieve out of it the sweat. Because that will encourage others on the ground to work harder. Player database should be enhanced. This goes to the secretariat. These are things you must. I'm happy I saw it in the new leader chairman's submission in the new things they want to push forward. If it's existent, yes, let's do better. The infrastructure, fields of play. Children need fields. Just see what is happening now during this COVID. Children don't have work because of the pandemic. They're inside gates, but they are not well. There's something missing. So, if you want to have the best player, you want Ronaldo, you want Messi, just have fields of play abundant and give them balls. That's how we used to get players from Naburu, estates in Jinja, because